Welcome or welcome back to my channel. As promised, I'm here to do an update on these two new collections from Clionadh Cosmetics, the Jeweled Lights and Dimensionals. If you're new to my channel, my name is Riley. I am an indie makeup lover and I take an analytical approach to reviewing makeup. I love sparkly, shifty eyeshadow and I spend way too much time thinking about it, so if you like that sort of thing, definitely subscribe. So first of all, I do have a video with eye swatches, in-depth swatches, descriptions, and comparisons for every single one of these shades. I will link that below if you're just looking for that sort of thing. I would recommend checking out that video first. So Clionadh Cosmetics is doing an anniversary sale, which I just found out about, and it will be 10% off the stained glass collection. You can also stack my affiliate code SEEKINGSHIFTS to save an additional 6% off that sale price. So I thought it would be a good time to check back in. It's been about 6 weeks that I've had these in my collection. I've used every single one of these, so I feel like I'm in a position to be able to talk about them. I also took a picture of a lot of the looks I did, so I'm going to pop those up the shadow as I'm talking about it. So if there's one I didn't feature a look with and you really want to see it in action, let me know in the comments. So first, I'd like to go over each of the formulas, let you know what my experience has been with them. Then I thought it might be fun to put these in like tiers in terms of like which ones would I repurchase immediately if I lost all these, which ones would I wait for like a sale or something, and which ones do I think I could live without. As I'm going through each shade, talk to you about my experience with it, pop up a picture of the look if I remember to take the picture, and I can do some quick swatches too. So as for my thoughts about each of these formulas, let's start with the Jeweled Lights. If you watch a lot of my videos, you may know I'm not a fan of the original Jeweled Multichrome formula. I think they're beautiful to look at, but in practice, they're really not my favorite. Creases like crazy on me, and not the type of crease that you can like pat out with your finger. Like my eyelids eat these. I had 4 of the Jeweled Multichromes and I really liked the colors of them, but I ended up decluttering all of them but Weld because I love the color of Weld so much. I'm willing to put up with the creasing just to have it. So honestly, when I heard about this new line of Jeweled Multichromes, I was like, okay, I'm not really sure like what is this going to offer, because we have the hybrid multichromes, which are supposed to be like a more wearable version of the Jeweled Multis without the black base, and we also have the deep iridescence, which I feel like also have similar shifts to the Jeweled Multichromes but with a gray base. So I wasn't really sure what to expect when I got these, but I was really curious, and when I finally got these in person, I was like, oh, I get it. Like these definitely offer something to the collection. Having these has kind of made me nostalgic and reignited my love of multichromes, because I feel like back in the day we really only had access to those black based multichromes, but it was so exciting to just have like such a shifty eyeshadow, and like having these brought me back to that feeling of like being mesmerized and having so much joy and excitement in doing my makeup. So I'm very grateful and excited to have these in my collection. My biggest concern was wear time, and as previously stated, I don't get a ton of creasing, but I had that experience with the Jeweled Multichrome, so I was concerned maybe something in that original Jeweled Multichrome formula would be in this formula and cause them to crease on me. I'm thrilled to report that these are essentially budge proof on my eyes. Like I was shocked. I've been wear testing these in hot, humid North Carolina heat, and while I don't like work outside or anything, I usually spend at least an hour outdoors every day, whether it's walking my dog before the pavement gets hot. The first one I wore all day was trefoil light, and I'll pop up the picture of what it looked like after I had worn it for like 8 hours and then went on a run in like 90-degree weather. It was perfectly intact. I was like honestly kind of shocked, and I've worn several of these at this point for like 8+ hours and they have remained budge proof throughout the day. So I think whatever's in the formula of the Jeweled Multichromes that causes creasing is not in this formula, and they wear beautifully. And these all are like sister shades to the Jeweled Multichromes. So like I said, I only have one of the original Jeweled Multichromes, and it's not one that has like a sibling in this range. So if you're looking for those comparisons, I'll refer you to my friend BellaBeauteBar's video. She has all of the Jeweled Multichromes and she did tons of comparisons. Super helpful video. Really big fan of this formula. Some colors more than others, and we'll get into that in the next segment of this video. But okay, now the dimensional multichromes, I have a lot of thoughts. They're not all created equal. There is definitely a range of texture. Some of these have already made their way to like some of my absolute favorite eyeshadows ever, and some of them I'm kind of just like indifferent about, and then one of them I just am not a huge fan of. But again, we'll get more into that in the next section. I think I mentioned this in my other video. I think these are Clionadh's answer to the more flaky formulas that brands like Terra have put out. And I will say some of these are like some of the more unique eyeshadows that I've ever seen. That says a lot in this current climate of indie makeup. I feel like at this point we've seen every multichrome be done before, and it's like hard to come up with something new and innovative unless there's like literally a new pigment that becomes available. There's like a few different finishes in here. There's the like smallest particle size, which is redox, and this is like still has some texture to it. This one I actually purchased on my own a long time ago, and I've had it for quite a while, and this has worn pretty nicely on my eyes throughout the day. Then there's like the larger particle size, which is like all of these except for this one, Ion, and these have all worn pretty well on my eyes throughout the day. I'll put up a wear test of Tarnish, which I did recently, and it lasted on my eyes even after going out on a pretty long walk in heat and humidity, like 90-degree weather, and wearing it all day while I was working and stuff. And then Ion did not fare well. And I did layer it over another eyeshadow, so I mean that definitely could have played a role, but like this realistically is not a shade I would just wear on its own for like an everyday purpose, so I did have to layer it to feel comfortable wearing it just like throughout the day. I'll pop up the video of what it looked like at the end of the day. Fell off my eye and like transferred to my bottom under eye area. I've heard people say that they get like really bad fallout throughout the day, and I never really understood that. I was like, what do you mean you get fallout throughout the day? But now I get it, because it literally fell off my eye onto my under eye. That one did not fare well, and I didn't use any glitter glue or anything, because with these I do prefer to not use a glitter glue. I feel like it gets a little bit too thick and cakey when I use a tacky base. Maybe if I had used a glitter glue, maybe if I had just used it on its own, it would have fared better, but that would require me like changing my makeup techniques to make a product work. And as a general rule, I feel like if I need to change my technique and like application to make a product work, then it's not necessarily a good product for me. Those are my overall thoughts. So let's get into the tier list. Okay, so this is my like tippity top best of the best. If I lost them, I would want to repurchase them right away. So first is Burnished Lite. This is just one of the most shifty, captivating, gorgeous, incredible, everything. Oh my god, all of the adjectives. It is so beautiful and like vibrant but still wearable, and it can be paired with so many things. Ugh, it's just beautiful. Okay, let me do some swatches too. So Burnished Lite. And to recap, this is one of the jeweled lights, and it shifts orange, gold, green, teal. The next one is Ferric. And this is one of the dimensionals one. I think a lot of people were really hype about this one, and I have to say the hype is 100% deserved. This is one of the most unique eyeshadows I think I've seen in such a long time, and it's like the epitome of spicy neutral. It's so complex and it shifts so many colors while still being very wearable. And I feel like, again, you can just pair this with so many things. It can be approachable. You can pair it with a more colorful look. It's just extraordinary. So let me swatch it. So you can see it definitely has a lot more texture and sparkle to it compared to Burnished Lite, but they're both so special and so beautiful. And then the third one, this one took me by surprise. This is Tarnish, and this is a green. And you guys, if you watch my videos, you know I'm not a huge green eyeshadow person, but I may be entering my green eyeshadow era because I'm finding a lot of greens that I really enjoy lately. This is one of the dimensionals again, and it's this like muted green, and I see shifts of like orange, gold, green, teal. And the thing that makes this so magical is that there are sparkles in it. I see like really light teal sparkles, orange, and like so many other colors, and they really pop out against this base. Like, and this is another one that's just so complex and has so much going on and so much visual interest that I feel like it can be paired with so many things. And let me swatch this one. Here are my 3 tippy top, would repurchase them immediately recommendations. I think these are like my precious. I love them so much. So I will make sure to have labels up on the screen if you're interested. Okay, so this next tier is like, these are amazing. I would definitely repurchase them if I lost them because I do really enjoy having them in my collection. But I wouldn't necessarily feel like in a sense of urgency, like I would wait for a sale. So first we have Forge Lite. And this is probably one of the most shifty eyeshadows. And I'll pop up the look I did with this. I felt so pretty when I did this look. I felt like it looked so good on me. I could see all of the shifts in like pretty much any lighting scenario. And the only reason why I'm not putting this in the very top tier is because this is such a common type of multichrome, and while I don't have anything exactly in this formula and finish, I feel like I have like quite a few different versions of this type of shade, so it wouldn't be something that I urgently feel the need to replace. But honestly, ever since I've had this, if I ever want something that's just like very shifty, red, orange, gold, green, teal, like this one, Forge Lite, is what I reach for over anything else. So here, I'll swatch it, and hopefully you can see all of the shifts. I'll just do a second layer. Here is Forge Lite. You see all those shifts? Next, we have Flame Blown Lite. And I actually did have the original Flame Blown in the jeweled formula, but I did declutter it because of the extreme amount of creasing I get from that formula. But this is one of the most shifty purple eyeshadows. And again, I just love this formula so much. And this one shifts from like a cool tone purple to warm tone purple to pink to orange to gold. It is so shifty. Hopefully you can see all those shifts. It is really beautiful. And the reason why this is not in the very top tier is because I just don't wear like really saturated purples like this on a super everyday basis, but I still really treasure this, and I'm so glad to have this in this formula. And next is Rosette Lite. This again is just like one of the most insanely shifty eyeshadows. It's like a blue to purple to pink to orange to gold, and it's one of those ones where you can really see all the shifts on your eyes. And I will pop up the look I did with this, but this is like right after I swatched all 18 shades, so my eyes were like so dry and creasy because they were irritated. But just so you can see what it looks like, I think I took this in the parking lot when I was going to pick up takeout. You can still see a lot of the shifts there, so it's really beautiful in person. And again, the only reason why this is not in the very top tier is because I don't wear blue eyeshadows on an everyday basis. But I'm like, again, so glad to have this in this formula. I did have the jeweled rosette before, and I decluttered it for the same reason that I decluttered the other jeweled ones. Next, you may be surprised to see this here. This is Patina Light, and this is like similar to Burnished Light in terms of like how vibrant and intense and insane it is, but I just don't like green as much as I like the tones in Burnished Light. This one is just so much fun, and I really enjoy using it. Like, I like the formula of this so much that I can look past the fact that it's like not my favorite type of green. I use this with my Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, and I really like the look I did. Totally forgot to take a picture, so I'm very sorry, but if you want me to share a look with this, let me know in the comments. Here it is, and you can just see how intense and vibrant that is. Like I said, I may be entering my green eyeshadow era. Next is Solder. Why did I say it like that? Solder. One of the dimensionals, and this is like a muted magenta, orange, gold, green. And this is stunning. Very wearable, very dimensional, very complex. Only reason why I don't have it in the very top tier is because I feel like I have similar things in my collection that do something similar, and I just don't feel like I would need to like replace it right away. I feel like I could hold over to like a sale or something, but I am really glad to have this in my collection. So here this is. And then finally, this is Oxidize. And this one is truly extraordinary. It's so unique. I have never seen anything quite like this. It has this like deep emerald teal that shifts to blue, indigo, purple, and I even see like a little bit of gold, and then it has packed with sparkles. I see like magenta sparkles, gold, silver, and it just looks so glossy and beautiful. And this, the only reason why it's not in the very top tier is because it's a little bit deeper than I feel comfortable wearing on a regular basis. It's not one that I have felt like pop on my eyes and wear throughout the day. Like, it's more one that I need to plan a specific look around, so it's not as intuitive for me to use. I also have very fair skin, so sometimes deeper shades are quite intimidating on me. So here are the shades in my next tier. These are like incredible. Definitely want to have these in my collection, but I just wouldn't necessarily rush to repurchase them. And I will pop up labels on the screen. Okay, this next tier is like ones that I'm grateful to have, but I don't know that I would go out and purchase them unless it was like a crazy good deal. And it's either because it's just not something I see myself realistically using a ton, or because I have so many similar things in my collection. So first is Kiln Light, and this is like a kind of cool tone red to orange to gold. And I feel like the tone of this is pretty unique, but it's just not often that I use a red like this. Like I would have to be like planning a very specific look for this, and I haven't really felt inclined to reach for it besides like intentionally going out of my way to use it in a look just so I could report back to you guys about how my experience was. So here is Kiln Lite. And I feel like this has a bit of a deeper base than some of the others. Next is Sandblast Lite. And I feel like this is a really unique orange. It has some depth. It has a little bit of grunge to it. Again, it's just not something I would realistically use often. I did use it in a look with my Natasha Denona bronze palette, and I felt like it looked really nice in the eyes. Totally forgot to take a picture of it. I'm so sorry. It's pretty, but I'm just not the person to use an orange eyeshadow like this on an everyday basis. So it's 100% preference thing, but I can appreciate it for the beautiful eyeshadow it is. And this is another one where I feel like the base is maybe a little bit deeper, but it could just be my eyes playing tricks on me. Next one is Smolder Lite. And this is a magenta, orange, gold, green. And this is beautiful. It is so shifty, any setting, and it's more wearable and approachable than the black base version of this. Literally the only reason why I wouldn't feel like I need to repurchase this is because it's like the most ubiquitous form of multichrome. Like, if you have a palette with a multichrome, or if you have like any black base multichrome, you probably have a dupe or something nearly identical to this, just in like a slightly different variation. So because I have so many versions of this in my collection between palettes and stuff like that, I wouldn't feel the urge to replace it. But on its own, I can appreciate it for the beautiful shade it is. So let me swatch it. And then finally, this is Oculus Lite. This is for two reasons. One, I just don't wear teal eyeshadows like this super often. This is like a teal, blue, indigo, purple. And also, this is such a common type of multichrome. I have like 4 or 5 nearly identical shades to this that just have slightly different bases or finishes. So it's just not something I would feel to purchase. But I do think this is like my favorite form of this shade that I have in a single. Here are my 4 shades in the like good, but not something I would necessarily go out of my way to repurchase. And then this last category is like, I like these enough to keep them and I will use them, but I definitely don't think I would go out of my way to buy them. And some of this is color preference, and some of this is like, I just didn't like my experience wearing them. So first is Spire Lite. And this is 100% because I'm intimidated by this. I use this in a look as like a liner situation. I was scared to use it as like an all over lid shade because it is such a vibrant blue and it's so like saturated and it's so special. It's just not something I'm comfortable using unless I'm like doing a look just for Instagram or something. So that's why I probably wouldn't purchase this with my own money. If you like this sort of thing, this formula is beautiful. So here is Spire Lite. It shifts from like this really intense blue to purple to even like a little bit of pink from a harsh angle. Okay, next is Trefoil Lite. This is one of the jeweled lights. And this is again 100% a color thing. And I was really excited for this color and I feel like it looks so cool. I just didn't like the way it looked on me. Like I felt like not myself when I was wearing this. And it could be because I don't love green eyeshadow or I don't know, but I'm going to keep playing around with it. I have only used it in one look so far, but I just didn't really love it. Maybe I need to pair it with different mattes, but as of right now, I just don't see myself repurchasing this if I were to lose all of my shades. So here's Trefoil Lite. And I'm not trying to like sound ungrateful or like nitpicking these shades that were gifted to me. I know it can be just as helpful to hear feedback about why I don't love something as why I do love something. And sometimes you guys like, you have very different tastes for me. And when I don't like something, like you're like, oh, that probably means I will like it. So anyway, that's why I'm being very specific about what I don't love about some of these shades. Next is Catalyst. This is one of the dimensionals. This is a color thing. I'm just a little intimidated by this color paired with this amount of like intense dimension and sparkle. And I think also the fact that I have very fair skin, it plays a role in that. This is like a warm blue to indigo to purple to pink. Very shifty, and it has like magenta, orange, gold sparkles. But I just have felt like intimidated to use this. So again, 100% a preference thing. But it is really pretty. Okay, next is Ion. And this one I would not repurchase because... Why do I do this? Okay, this is in the bottom tier for a couple reasons. I actually think I would put this in like an even lower tier. But I don't want to be too harsh because I feel like I didn't give this 100% a fair chance. So this is like a really rich, deep purple to pink, orange, gold. This is a lot deeper than I feel comfortable wearing on like an everyday basis, first of all. Second of all, the texture and finish is like really flaky, like the kind of flaky that almost like flies away. I don't know if you can see. I did eye swatch it in my other video, so definitely check that out if you want to see. And third of all, it like transferred below my eye, and that could have been because of what I had it layered on top of, but again, that's just something else to make me not necessarily love it as much. But here it is. It is pretty, but if this left my collection, I wouldn't feel the need to repurchase it. But I'm going to keep giving it a try, and if I find a way to make it work that I really like it, then I will report back. And then the last one is Redox. This one I actually did purchase myself, which is kind of funny. I purchased this myself, and then Clionadh sent it to me in PR, so I am giving away the one they sent me untouched. And this is my one that I bought myself. And there's nothing wrong with this. I have Mystic Mountain from Terra Moons, which is really similar. And I do think I prefer Mystic Mountain a little bit more. So because of that, I just feel like I wouldn't repurchase this. But here it is. This is like the smoothest of all the dimensionals. And it's really nice. And if I didn't have Mystic Mountain, this would probably be a lot higher. But I just prefer Mystic Mountain more. So here these all are swatched together. There's nothing wrong with these. Well, I mean, Ion, I feel like I have a few issues with. But the rest of these, there's nothing wrong with them. It's 100% a personal preference. So you can take my subjective opinion and do what you will with it. See if it aligns with your own preferences. Maybe this will be a selling point for them. Maybe this will talk you out of it. But that's just where these fall for me. But again, I just want to emphasize, like, I am so grateful to have these and that Clionadh sent them to me to test out and to do paid content for. I'm not trying to like nitpick them or complain or anything. It's just like some of these I like more than others, and that's just how it is. And I hope that information can be helpful to you if you're planning to make a purchase and maybe you're trying to narrow down your wish list. That's where I'm at right now, about 6 weeks in. Maybe like toward the end of the year, I will come back and update you more and try to make these shades that I don't love work for me. Maybe I will change my opinion by then. But that's where I'm at right now. But anyway, I hope this video was interesting. I hope it was helpful. Are you planning to shop this sale? I'm going to pick up a few eyeshadows, and I do have a follow-up video to this. It's going to be like a part 2. I did place a haul during our last sale, and I'm going to do swatches, comparisons, etc., first impressions of those. I do plan to place an order during the sale and pick up a few that I've had on my wishes for a while, adornment, and I do want to pick up some of their nail polishes. I get at least one comment when I wear this nail polish. It is Radiance polish from Clionadh. It's out of stock right now, and I did message them and ask them if they plan to restock. They said they're waiting for a pigment. They're gonna do an announcement if they're able to restock it. So if I see that announcement, I'll put up my stories. But yeah, this is Radiance, and I have press-on nails on, so it looks a little different on press-ons than it does on like regular nails, but you get the gist of what it looks like. This is like my new favorite polish ever. Like every time I do my nails, this is the one I use. So anyway, that will be 15% off, and you can stack my affiliate code on it. I'm planning to pick up a few more polishes. But anyway, let me stop yapping. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!